In 1702, a king vanished from his court for 3 nights. No guards. No servants. No one knew where he went. But when he returned, he was different. He spoke in riddles. Answered questions no one had asked. And claimed, he had met the dead. Historians called him mad. His enemies called him dangerous. But the people? They whispered something else. That he was chosen. That the ghosts of the past had given him a message. One the world still hasn't decoded. This is the forgotten chronicle of the king who spoke to ghosts. The rise of the forgotten monarch. King Elric of Eloria wasn't born to rule. He was the 3rd son, quiet, curious, and obsessed with old legends. While others learned swordplay, he read forbidden scrolls. He believed the dead had wisdom we'd forgotten. Then, tragedy struck. A sudden illness wiped out his older brothers. And just like that, the scholar prince became king. But instead of war and taxes, he began restoring lost temples, rebuilding buried crypts, funding mystics. He ordered silence in the palace at midnight. He asked poets, not generals, for advice. And he started, dreaming of a woman in white who whispered things only he could hear. His court worried. His people were enchanted. Then, one stormy night in 1702, he walked into the woods alone. And didn't return for 3 days. The haunting. When King Elric returned, he looked the same. But his eyes were distant. Like he'd seen something beyond this world. He gathered his council. And told them. I have spoken with the kings who came before me, and those who never got to rule. They laughed. Until he revealed secrets no one else knew. A traitor in the court. The hidden chamber beneath the chapel. The name of a servant, who died 60 years earlier but still walked the halls. From that day on, the palace changed. Mirrors were covered. Candles were lit in rooms no one entered. And Elric? He would often speak to empty air, and weep. Then came the prophecies. He said a famine would come. It did. He said the river would flood. It did. He warned that his own blood would betray him. And still, he ruled with kindness. Built orphanages. Forgave rivals. Protected the weak. Because he believed, the dead had shown him the cost of cruelty. But every prophecy brought him closer, to something darker. The betrayal and the legacy. In spring of 1705, the prophecy came true. His cousin, Lord Callan, plotted with foreign spies. They stormed the palace during a lunar eclipse. Elric didn't resist. He stood in the throne room. Lit a single candle. And said. The dead are watching. What happened next, is still debated. Some say the attackers saw figures in white behind him. Some say the walls bled. Some say. Lord Callan was struck blind on the spot. But by dawn, Elric was gone. No body. No blood. Just an empty crown, resting on the throne. His name was erased from records. Temples destroyed. Stories buried. But in the quiet villages of Eloria, they still speak of him. The king who spoke to ghosts. And they say. If you stand by his statue at midnight. And whisper your deepest pain. You might hear a voice. Not your own. But one that understands. Because some say. He never died. He simply crossed over. To a place where the dead still speak. And where the living can still listen. But what if the woman in white wasn't a ghost at all? What if she was a gatekeeper? And Elric, just the first to walk through? Would you follow? And where the living can still listen.